Let's talk about a guy who spent 80 years sleeping in the dirt, hunting monsters in the rain, and being treated like a second class citizen in every tavern from Bree to Gondor. He had the ultimate get out of jail free card. He was a king. He was he had a royal bloodline. He could have walked into the palace on day one and demanded the throne. Instead, he chose the shadows. He chose Strider. Welcome back, everybody, to Perspectives of Jerry. Today, we are continuing the Heroic Icons series with a deep dive into Aragorn from The Lord of the Rings. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jerry, he's a fantasy character with a magic sword. How does this help me? Well, here's the thing. Aragorn isn't an icon because he's good with the blade, and there's no denying he is. But that he is good with a blade, I should say. But he's an icon because of his restraint. He is the ultimate example of a man who spent his whole life proving that he was worthy of the power by being the one person who didn't want anything to do with it. Now stick with me here because we're going to look at his struggles which is actually our struggle in 2026. But before we get into the heavy lore and life lessons, everybody, please do me a quick favor, because if you like these deep dives into characters that we're trying to look up to, I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit that subscribe button for the channel because this does really help me keep the lights on and tells the algorithm that we want more hero talk and less of the regular, nonsense that YouTube could, generally have. A lot of slop, that type of thing. I'm trying to build something here, and I'd like you all to be part of it with me. Okay, so let us dive into the mind of the king. So, who is Aragorn, really? Because if you've only seen the movies, you know that he's a badass. There's no doubt about that. But the books give us something much deeper than that. He's a man that lives under a shadow. Specifically, his ancestor Isildur, who had the one chance in a lifetime to end evil forever. And when he looked into the abyss, he blinked. He failed. The ring took him. He failed. And for thousands of years, that failure defined Aragorn's family. Imagine carrying that. Imagine feeling like you've got failure written into your DNA. Aragorn was raised in secret in Rivendell. He didn't even know his real name for years. And when he found out, he didn't go on a power trip. In fact, he went the complete opposite direction from the palace. He went to the wilderness. Seriously, this sounds like my D&D group. Oh my God, plot! And they go the other direction. Happens. But that's exactly what Aragorn did. He saw who he was and wanted nothing to do with it. He spent decades serving in other people's armies under fake names. He wasn't building a resume doing this. He was building a character. He was learning what it was like to be a soldier before he ever tried to be a general. He was seasoning himself. Now, by the time that we see him in The Prancing Pony, he's 87 years old. He's seen it all. He's tired. He's muddy. He's humble. That's the first big lesson. True authority isn't something that you grab. It's something that you grow into through service. So, what's in the secret sauce here? What makes Aragorn stand out from all the other heroes? Plain and simple, it's his humility. There's a line in the books The hands of the king are the hands of a healer. Think about that for just a second. In most stories, the king is the guy who kills the most people. But in Tolkien's world, the true king is the guy who can heal the most people. After the biggest battle of the age, where does Aragorn go? He doesn't go to the throne room to start measuring for curtains. No, he goes to the hospital wing. He spends the night using his own energy to pull people back from death. And if you have watched the extended versions of Return of the King, which if you haven't, you should by now, you can see this when he goes to tend to Éowyn after she was nearly killed by the Witch King. The king who heals. He's also a unifier. He doesn't look down on the hobbits because they're small or the dwarves because they're stubborn. He sees the value in them all. And then we have the Black Gate. The moment where he looks back at his friends and whispers, "For Frodo." And then he just takes off running. Of course, with the two hobbits like right on his heels. He's not charging there for glory. He's charging to buy a friend 5 more minutes of time. He's a leader who is willing to be the distraction so someone else can be the hero. That is a level of ego stripping that we just don't see anymore. Now, let's bring this home to 2026. How do you and I become more like Aragorn in our daily lives? Well, I have it narrowed down to 3 things. First, own your baggage. We all have family stuff or past mistakes. Aragorn didn't pretend that Isildur didn't exist. He acknowledged the flaw and decided, I'm going to be the one who does it differently. You have the power to be the cycle breaker in your family. Best example, if you come from a family of alcoholics, you be the one that stays sober. Best example I got. It's the first one I always hear. Second, embrace your Strider years. We live in a world that wants instant success. We want the crown now. But maybe you're in a season of your life where you're just wandering. You're working at a job that feels beneath you, or you're doing the right thing and nobody's noticing. That's your ranger phase. Use it to build the character. The character that you're going to be when you finally do win. I watched a video just yesterday actually, and it was about if I was a student again, how would I do it? So, when you go to a college, okay, you start at college, you have the end goal of graduation. Okay, but what do you do? If you want to gamify this a little bit, talk about building character, gamify it a little bit. Choose your side quests. You could have a side quest of doing some music, being at a local play, going to all the parties. You know what your major is. Maybe you do something on the side just in case. My regret from college, now I went to college for a long time for one major and it didn't work out, so I changed. But what I could have done is I could have taken some finance classes or some business classes or even some computer classes. Whatever that would have enhanced me. Now, I did take history, I did take philosophy. I learned other things, and we want to learn all the things, but those are all character builders. These are, if you look at game systems, this is adding skills. Maybe I want to learn how to play guitar. Okay, so I put some points in my music skill. I'm learning I took dance classes, so I put some points in my dance skill. Which, if you're a gamer like I am, that just help my dexterity and my constitution scores. So embrace those times. Do the minor stuff. Learn what you can. It all applies somewhere down the line. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. And other times, if you went to school for one thing, but you made sure to take like some classes in programming or something like that, well, maybe now you're working IT. Full stack developers, that type of stuff. Or you went to school for psychology and you ended up and you took some finance classes, and well, you didn't work out with psychology, but now you're a finance bro or something. As an example. Number 3, you want to lead by doing. If you're a parent, a boss, or just a friend, don't bark orders. Be the first one to charge. Be the one who stays late to help. Be the healer in your circle. When you use your power to help others grow, that's when you start truly wearing the crown. When I was a manager for a restaurant, I wouldn't assign a job to any of my staff that I wasn't willing to do myself, and I would show them that. I would do the dishes. I would clean the baseboards. I hated cleaning baseboards, even when I was a standard employee, not a manager. But I showed them that I was willing to do it myself, which means I could assign it to other people because I knew what I was doing. I saw what it took to do the job. And that is something I want you to take forward into that particular idea of leading by example. Lead from the front. All right, so I think what we have here is Aragorn is the proof that you don't need a palace to be a king. You just need a heart that's willing to serve. Now, if this video gave you a bit of spark today, please remember to hit that like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because that helps me know that you're liking what I'm doing, and it lets me keep going with it. And, if you want to help me just a little bit more because of some of the work, to keep these really rolling through, click on the link in the description at buymeacoffee.com/perspectives of Jerry. Every little bit of coffee keeps these scripts coming. And I do appreciate every single one of you that supports the channel. Until next time, folks, my name is Jerry. This has been a perspective of Jerry. And, not all who wander are lost. So while you're wandering in your ranger phase or your strider phase, don't get lost. Just see your direction. Everybody, you guys all have a good day. I'll see you in the next one. For more of these videos, you can click right here, or you can make sure to hit the subscribe button, which is right here. Thank you very much, folks, and you have a great day.